Dear in this conference participant, in 2016, the World Ocean Assessment of the United Nations stated that the humankind was running out of time to start managing the ocean sustainability. On 5th December 2017, the United Nations proclaimed a decade of ocean science for sustainable development to be held from 2021 to 2030. The decade will be implemented on a voluntary basis within the legal framework of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. It represents an opportunity to build the scientific capacity and knowledge to contribute to the goals of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The decade is everyone's decade and aims to leave no one behind. It's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to transform the way ocean science is done and used. The decade invites all partners to build on existing efforts and combine future actions at all scales of engagement to find science-driven solutions to improve the state of the ocean and advance the welfare of the humanity. The following 7 outcomes describe the ocean we want at the end of the decade: clean ocean, healthy and resilient ocean, productive ocean, predicted ocean, safe ocean, accessible ocean, inspiring and engaging ocean. Different levels of decade actions will be implemented, including programs, projects, activities, and/or contributions. Decade will be resourced by a diversity of partners, including national governments, regional organizations, philanthropic and corporate foundations, multilateral and bilateral funding agencies, businesses and industry, and individuals through the crowdfunding. UN entities proposing to carry out decade actions will register their action at any time via the decade website. Non-UN entities proposing to carry out decade actions will request endorsement of their proposed decade actions through the process described and illustrated in this slide. This process involves the governance and coordination structures of the decade, including the Decade Board, a strategic advisory group, the Decade Coordination Unit, the centralized coordination structure, and regional or programmatic decentralized coordination structures. Over 50 leading institutions provided written submissions to the development of the scientific priorities of the decade, and over 230 written submissions were received in response to peer review of the zero draft of the implementation plan in early 2020, coordinated and led by IOC of UNESCO. The Ocean Decade Challenges represent the highest level of the Decade Action Framework. They articulate the most immediate priorities for the decade and aim to unite decade partners in collective action, thus ensuring that the whole of the decade is greater than the sum of its parts. The challenges have been distilled from discussions within stakeholders through the preparation phase of the decade, including the regional consultation workshops. There were selected 10 challenges categorized as a knowledge and solution challenges, you can see on this slide, essential infrastructure challenges, foundation challenges, and in my presentation, I will mainly focus on data, information, and knowledge aspects only. So generating knowledge from the data and information, develop a comprehensive digital representation of the ocean, ensure comprehensive capacity development and equitable access to data, information, and knowledge and technology across all aspects of ocean scale and for all stakeholders, I assume are very important for our community of data managers. Data and information, no doubt, will be key enablers of decade outcomes. Digitizing, preserving, managing, exchanging, and most importantly, using a significantly increased volume and range of ocean-related data, information, and knowledge will be a cornerstones of the decade's success. The ambition of the decade in relation to data, information, and knowledge management includes significant enhancement of infrastructure, common approaches that enable interoperable data sharing and stewardship, and enhanced collaboration between data providers and users. The ambition challenge of representing the socio-ecological dimensions of the ocean through the digital means will require a collective effort from a diverse but closely coordinated community. No single or central digital infrastructure or system will be sufficient to meet the needs of the decade. Moreover, capacity development is an essential tenet of the decade. It has an ultimate aim of achieving evenly distributed capacity across the globe, across generations, and across genders, and thus reversing asymmetry in knowledge, skills, and access to technology. The decade is bringing new opportunities for us. There will be opportunities to create new collaborations across disciplines, geographies, and generations. Implementation of the digital ecosystem will require inclusive and outward-facing co-design and co-construction of a distributed, integrated, and interoperable set of digital solutions that will form components of the overall ecosystem. Opportunities will also be created to access new sources of support or to interest in innovative and audacious ocean science, and to raise the visibility and reach of actions and initiatives. Empowering cooperation between technologists, data producers, and diverse user groups, including governments, UN entities, scientists, planners, decision makers, as well as industry and the public. Raising skills and access technology needed to produce, interpret, and use data, information, and knowledge. All related initiatives of the decade will be linked to capacity development and transfer of marine technology initiatives, definitely. We are in the beginning of our road, and it's up to us to make sure that we take the right direction. Countries should expand cooperation in ocean-related education, training, capacity development, and transfer of marine technology. Catalyze cooperation between data generators and users from diverse stakeholder groups, including governments, UN entities, scientists, planners, decision makers, as well as industry and the planning. The ocean is offering us an opportunity to work together for the common good in true spirit of multilateralism and interdisciplinarity. Together, and only together, we will be able to create the science we need for the ocean we want, despite all the present threats we are facing now. Thank you for your attention. I wish you a productive conference.